The Library of Alexandria burned to the ground in one night. 1,000 years of human knowledge gone. You know this story, depending on who's telling it. The arsonist was Julius Caesar, a Christian mob, or an Arab caliph. Here's the problem. Historians have checked all three stories. Every single one falls apart on dates, geography, or both. There was no fire.
And nobody talks about this.
So if nobody burned it, what killed the greatest library in the ancient world? The answer is in the sources everyone quotes and nobody reads. Let's actually check. Alexandria, 3rd century BC. The Museion holds somewhere between 40,000 and 400,000 scrolls. We genuinely don't know which. Every ship that docked was searched for books. The books were seized and copied, and the library kept the originals. The owners sailed home with the copies. That was official policy, and nobody could do anything about it. Euclid wrote the elements in this building. Eratosthenes measured the circumference of the Earth from it to within 1% with a stick. Aristarchus proposed the Earth orbits the Sun 17 centuries before Copernicus. 48 BC. Caesar, trapped in the palace quarter, sets the enemy fleet on fire. The fire jumps to the shore. This is documented. What burned were warehouses by the docks. Look at the map. The fire never reaches the library district. And here's what the story skips. The geographer Strabo visits Alexandria 25 years later and describes the Museion in the present tense, working, staffed, funded. People kept visiting it for another 400 years. It's hard to visit a library that isn't there. 391 AD, a Christian mob demolishes the Serapeum. Also documented, wrong building. The Serapeum was a daughter library across town, and the contemporary accounts describe statues being smashed. Not one of them mentions a single book. Better, a Roman historian writing more than a decade before the mob describes the Serapeum's book collection in the past tense. The shelves were already empty when the building came down. 642. Caliph Omar orders the scrolls burned to heat the city's bathhouses for 6 months. Tremendous detail, extremely quotable. First written down 550 years after it supposedly happened. 3 villains, 3 stories, and each one told by someone who needed it. Romans blaming Caesar's enemies, pagans blaming Christians, medieval politics blaming a caliph. The burning of the Library of Alexandria isn't history. It's a weapon that changed hands for 1,000 years. The real killer doesn't have a face. In 145 BC, a king purges the scholars. Under Rome, the budget becomes a favor. In 215, Caracalla suspends the institution outright. By the 260s, the palace quarter is wrecked in a civil war. No fire required. Scrolls are papyrus, and in Alexandria's humid air, papyrus survives a century, maybe 2. A library only exists if someone keeps paying scribes to recopy everything forever. Stop paying, and the library dissolves on its own, quietly, 1 rack at a time. Nobody decided to destroy this place. That's the point. For 400 years, everyone just decided it was someone else's budget. Every painting of the burning was made over 1,000 years later. There is no eyewitness account of the fire, because there was no fire to witness. We keep the fire story because it's a better story. 1 night, 1 villain, 1 tragedy. The truth is, the greatest library in the world died of 400 years of budget meetings, and the people living through it never saw a disaster. Just a slightly smaller institution than the year before. Every year. And nobody talks about this.